Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh, well, he is at the White House at this hour as the Senate Judiciary Committee has invited him and his accuser to testify under oath in a public hearing on Monday. Could that put his nomination in jeopardy? 51-year-old California professor Christine Blasey Ford. Well, they are both invited to testify before the Senate Judiciary Committee on Monday, and that will be under oath. Judge Kavanaugh says he is willing to testify, but as of this hour, it is unclear if Professor Ford will appear before the committee. It seems they're waiting on word from her lawyer. So what can we expect if this does go through? Tom Dupree joins us, former Deputy Assistant Attorney General under President George W. Bush. Elizabeth Wydra, president of the Constitutional Accountability Center. Elizabeth, let me start with you. Talk about a showdown. What do you think can be accomplished on Monday, beyond both potentially stating their conflicting accounts?
Well, I think, first of all, that Dr. Blasey Ford's story and her personally should be treated with the appropriate sensitivity and the seriousness that her allegations really deserve. I think it's unfortunate that the men of the Republican majority on the Senate Judiciary Committee are rushing ahead with hearing testimony before allowing the FBI to do an appropriate investigation, question any witnesses, put together all of the documentary evidence. You know, that's really what should happen before they come in to testify. And Dr. Blasey Ford has said that she's willing to testify because this story is already out. She wanted confidentiality, but unfortunately, when that wasn't possible, she said her civic duty required her to come forward. And frankly, I find it offensive that people are trying to portray this traumatic experience that has affected her life into some 30-year-long plot to try to derail Brett Kavanaugh by Democrats. You know, this is a traumatic experience that happened to Dr. Ford, and we should all be treating it seriously.
Tom, does Elizabeth have a point?
Well, I agree that it is useful to have a full airing of this. We've certainly heard from Professor Ford and her version of events. What we haven't heard yet is Judge Kavanaugh discussing this at length. So I think having a public hearing on Monday where both sides can make their statements, they can be subjected to what I am sure will be very vigorous questioning from every member of the committee, I think is useful. Look, this is hard to do, trying to figure out what happened or didn't happen so long ago. I think that the Senate is going to make a good faith effort, I hope they will, to actually get to the truth here, to hear what Dr. Ford has to say, but also to hear what Judge Kavanaugh has to say.
And, Tom, what do you say to those who think that the judge is being sandbagged, that this is a political hit job because Dianne Feinstein had that letter, it was a secret, kept so, she said, because Ms. Ford did not want to go public, and now this after the hearings are over?
Well, look, I think even the opponents of Judge Kavanaugh would agree that Senator Feinstein did not handle this the right way, that this was something that could and should have been raised earlier in the process. I think it's unfortunate that we are now at the position where it's effectively the 11th hour, that his nomination was about to go to the committee this week. It would then move to the full floor. And at this late stage in the game, these allegations are being raised. That doesn't mean that it gets swept under the rug. As I said, I think it's a good thing that we're going to hear from both sides on Monday, but the way that this was handled by the Democrats, I don't think was right.
Yeah, Elizabeth.
But Senator Feinstein, yeah, Dr. Ford asked for confidentiality, and Senator Feinstein was just respecting that wish. And frankly, this isn't an 11th hour issue. She had raised this issue previously, earlier in the summer, before the nomination even came out, and certainly way back in 2012, speaking with her therapist, and she of course told her husband as well. And there's no 11th hour because there's no clock on this. So this is a lifetime appointment to the Supreme Court, and the Senate should do the right job, not a rush job.
And Elizabeth, quickly, what do you think is going to happen?
Well, I think that, this is going to be very tough for the Senate, which is why I think that the FBI should do an investigation before the hearing. I agree that Dr. Ford and Judge Kavanaugh should be heard on this, but it should be done the right way because the senators aren't really in a position, frankly. They haven't shown themselves very well suited to be looking into claims of sexual assault. So the FBI, who's used to doing this, should do it.
Yeah, Tom, your prediction, Chuck Grassley has suggested maybe an independent person. So what do you think is going to happen Monday, and will it affect the nomination?
Well, I think it is going to be riveting drama on Monday, no question about that. I suspect that there is going to be a long debate about these charges. We're going to hear her side of the story. We're going to hear Judge Kavanaugh's side of the story. From my perspective, I think the interesting thing will be whether there is any additional evidence that comes in on either side of the ledger that either corroborates or undercuts these claims, or if we're going to be left with the classic he said, she said dilemma.
Although there is that other witness, his friend, who had denied it. We shall see. You're right. It will be compelling, high drama, and almost unbelievable. Tom Elizabeth, thank you.
Thank you.